I will replace the bearings and the water seal in this washer drum. As previously, I disassembled this washer to make the drum out of its body to fix the grinding noise. That video will be linked at the end. Before changing the bearing, I will clean the washer's inner and outer drum as it has a lot of soap scum built on its surface, and this is an advantage of disassembling the washer. Such dirty drums are not able to clean clothes how they needed to. As you can see, we have cleaned the inner and outer drums. Now I will fit the drum's water seal and bearings. I will apply some grease inside the drum bearing hole as the outer dia of the drum has started to become rusty. Applying grease will make the surface safe from getting rustier. First I will install the bigger bearing of this drum. The bearing number is 6206RS. Now, I will press the bearing inside the drum hole. I am using a socket to press the bearing inside the drum by tapping it with the hammer to prevent the bearing seal from damaging. Slowly tap the hammer to fit the bearing evenly inside the hole of the drum. I got no issue while pressing the bearing. I will now press the water seal, but first, I am cleaning the grease from the upper area of the bearing because now I will use a technique to install the water seal as I think water passed through the outer dia of the water seal and then towards the bearing which caused the bearing to go bad. So I will use silicone to make this area waterproof. Now I am applying silicone on the top of the bearing. This will prevent water from leaking. I applied the silicone on the upper surface of the bearing. Now I will press the water seal. Pressing the water seal will grab its position with the silicone, preventing water leakage. Now I am pressing it inside. It has quite pressed in the dia of the hole with my thumbs. Now I am using the old bearing to press the rest of the water seal inside as I will tap it with the hammer. Now I doubt that the water seal may be loose from the outer dia of the drum. So I will apply silicone on the corners of the seal to clear my doubts. Now the seal seems to be something like this after applying silicone. Now I will install the next bearing on the other side of the drum. I installed the next bearing the same way as I did the first. This one is also perfectly pressed. After waiting 14 to 15 hours, see the silicone has dried out. And it will now not move from its place and has been waterproofed. Now I will apply some grease in the inner corners of the water seal and the bearings to fit the inner drum easily inside this outer drum, which is a good practice. As I told you before, it will prevent rusting. The same, I am applying grease on the shaft of the inner drum. Now I will fit the inner drum inside the outer drum. I am installing the inner drum inside the outer drum by aligning it in the center of the outer drum hole. After aligning it in the center, apply some force to press it completely inside the outer drum. It is not pressing more than this. Now I will place the drum on the other side by moving these bricks. It has been completely installed in its accurate position. I am installing the pulley to secure the inner drum from getting out and tighten the pulley's bolt. And tight it with the same strength as how it was opened. I am using the same technique for tightening the bolt because if the bolt remains loose, the drum could fall, which is dangerous. And I am tightening it to get the same strength from the bolt with the pulley. Now I am checking whether the drum has any play, and it has no play. Now the drum has no grinding noise as before it had a lot of grinding noise when I rotated it with the hands. The alignment of the pulley is also fine. Now I will place the drum on the bricks again. And install the upper cover of the outer drum. We can't change the position of the cover as it will sit in its position. And one important piece of info, as you can see this black seal on the outer drum. If this seal is not installed on your drum, use silicone as an alternate. And if the seal is present, then do not use anything else. Also, check the inner drum after placing the upper cover of the outer drum. Now, I will place all the bolts and tighten them up one by one. For this, I will use a technique. When I tighten one bolt, the next bolt I will tighten will be in front of it. Then randomly tighten all the bolts. And this is how I will tighten all the bolts. So let's start tightening the bolts. The benefit of tightening the bolt in such a way is that the drum cover will sit evenly from all corners. And if I do not tighten it in such a way, sometimes the drum does not sit evenly, which makes the drum tilt to one side and will raise the chances of water leakage. And as you can see, this is the opposite bolt. Tighten the bolts as much as needed. Please don't overdo it. All the bolts are tightened now. As I washed the drum, water was also thrown on the element, as the element has holes inside them, and if the water goes inside, it could be short-circuited. So I will check whether it shows earth leakage on the multimeter. I am checking both terminals one by one. The element has been short-circuited if the reading is shown on the multimeter. Then remove it from the drum and heat it with a heat gun or place it in the sun. It will dry from the inside. If you heat it with a heat gun, it dries quickly. And this is how it will be fixed. If it's faulty, it can burst, which is dangerous. Other than this, your home's electricity breaker will trip repeatedly. Now let's install the motor in the hooks. It has been installed and tightened its bolt on top of it. I am tightening the bolt of the motor in the same position. How I opened it. As I didn't remove the nut installed beneath the motor, which is why the motor is adjusted in its same position. A hole is left in the drum to adjust the motor according to the requirement. So tightening the motor is essential. As if the motor is loose, the belt will also become loose. Now I will install the belt on the pulley. While installing the belt, install it on the motor shaft and then rotate it on the pulley as I am rotating it. The belt has got tighter here, and I have to save my hand as well as rotate the belt on the pulley. As I rotated it, the belt has seated on the pulley. Check whether the belt is not much loose. And check by rotating the pulley that the motor shaft and the pulley are rotating together. If yes, then the belt is installed fine. And fit the drum trustworthily inside the body. Now I have placed the drum inside the body of the washer. Now install the springs one by one with the drum. Now I will fit the shock absorber back in the drum opening. And install the pin on the top of the shock hole. In the same way, install the next shock absorber. Now I am fitting the air-doomed assembly with the washer and the drum. It is used for draining water. Attach the air trap to the rubber. Now using a plier, attach it and clip it back to tighten the air trap with the rubber. It's getting difficult, so I will remove it from the drum and attach it to the air trap first. And fit it back with the drum. Now I will install all the wires back of the element and the sensor. I will install a cable tie with the wire, as a cable tie was installed before. Next, install the pipe of the water flow switch. And move the clip upward with the help of a plier. Now I will install the door gasket. As I cleaned it, I forgot to shoot its cleaning video. As in the previous video, I told you about this arrow on the gasket to align it with this arrow on the drum. Put this corner of the door gasket inside the door, then straighten it and put the front corner of the gasket. And align the door gasket this way to fit the complete on the washer door. I am checking the rubber from the inside to make sure it is fitted with the door. I have completely loosened the screw of this ring. And install it back in the washer. And now I have tightened the bolt of the ring. Install the weight of the washer one by one on the front. In the same way, I have fitted the left weight without filming this part of the video. Then install the cement block on the top of the drum. Now I will install the electric connections from the back side of the motor. First, I installed the ground wire, then the motor's connector. Install the cable ties with the wires it has been removed from. Now I am installing the water dispenser box inside the washer. And insert the solenoid valves at the back. Attach the water rubber with the drum. And tighten its screw. Now I will install the door switch with the door. I have put my hands inside the washer and removed the door switch of the washer to show you, so install the door switch in this position and the whole door lock. First, insert the door switch from the left side by tilting it and the push from the right side. If you try to insert it directly, it will never be installed. Now let's install its screws. Now pull the door gasket outward. And place the rubber on the door corners, as I am doing it now. And this is how it has been fit. Then place the ring of the door boot. Place it inside the corners of the door gasket. Keep holding the spring of the ring, and pull the spring outwards. You can do it with the hand and a flat screwdriver. Now I will turn it on to test the drum. I have set it on spin mode and pressed the start button. The drum has started to rotate, and I can only hear the sound of the motor, which is normal. The pulley of the washer is also rotating fine. And this is the process of fixing grinding noise in a washer. Click on the left video to watch how we disassembled it, also the drum grinding noise. And subscribe, it's free. Thank you.